two groups ostensibly over the issue within the housing complex, where both the groups started complaining that this was against what was agreed within the constitution. In fact, we saw that there were several altercations from within the housing complex as well, where the members who raised objections were seen confronting those who had brought the goats within the housing complex. There was a debate about why they were being stopped and how a large number of crowds gathered thereafter as well. So as of now, the police say that the situation is under control, it is peaceful, but there was a lot of tension in the area after certain right-wing activists had also joined in, and the two groups had a face-off after this altercation from within the housing complex.
Maharashtra, where tension at the housing society in Mira Bhayandar after two goats were brought by lift have erupted. Now, society claims that goats were not allowed to be taken in the lift, but they were taken. Now, we are showing you the visuals as well. Police had to intervene in this particular matter, even as a large crowd gathered over the issue. Now, protesting residents chanted Chalisa and Jai Shri Ram outside the buildings as well. So, it is a shocking and breaking news coming in from the state of Maharashtra, where tension at the housing society in Mira Bhayandar after two goats were actually brought by lift. Now, society claims that goats are actually not allowed to be taken in the lift, but they were taken. Now, police had to intervene in this particular matter, even as the large crowd gathered over this particular issue. Protesting residents chanted Chalisa and Jai Shri Ram. We are showing you the visuals of that building and how two goats were taken up from the lift even after it was not allowed in the building, and hence the protest has now erupted outside the building, where the residents are actually chanting Chalisa and Jai Shri Ram. Now, the Mira Bhayandar, okay, I have CNN News 18's Vinay Deshpande.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I am Anand Narasimhan. A day after Prime Minister Narendra Modi made the biggest pitch for the Common Civil Code or the Uniform Civil Code from Bhopal, the debate over it simmers. Today, the All India Muslim Personal Law Board held a meeting and they have decided to oppose the implementation of the UCC, alleging that it targets a particular religion and attacks the secular identity of the country. A charge echoed by several opposition parties too. The Aam Aadmi Party, however, has voiced in principle support to the UCC, saying that the UCC is mentioned in Article 44 of the Constitution. But, just to remind our viewers, the UCC will impact all personal laws pertaining to birth, death, adoption, marriage, death and divorce. It will rise above community and caste considerations and treat all as one as envisaged in our Constitution itself. Before we get into the reform versus regressive debate, let's get you an overview of the UCC right here on The Right Stand. And we'll start with our own Samvidhan or Constitution, ladies and gentlemen. With me, right beside me, is the replica of the original Constitution. This is the original Constitution of India. You see the calligraphy, and this is a replica that I've had the privilege of getting, and I'll show you the Constitution of India, Satyamev Jayate and the Ashoka Pillar. And this is the original preamble, the Constitution of India, people of India, and you see sovereign democratic republic. So the word socialist and secular that were inserted during the time of the emergency when the parliament was not there by Indira Gandhi are not there. So at a sovereign democratic republic of India, what was envisaged? Let's go straight across to page number 17. This is part 4, and this is the directive principles of state policy. Directive principles of state policy, starting with Article 36. I'm going to just turn one page and come here. Direct your attention to Article 44. What does it say? Uniform Civil Code for the citizens. That's the subheader here, and it's calligraphically written. This is the original style. The state shall endeavor to, for the citizens, secure for the citizens, uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. without any doubt, once again reading it, the state shall endeavor to secure for the citizens uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. So ladies and gentlemen, this is not an agenda of the BJP, this is not a Sanghi agenda, this is not a Hindutva agenda, this is not against the secular fabric of the country, because our founding fathers wanted this commitment from the state that they will endeavor to secure for the citizens of India a uniform civil code as enshrined in Article 44, Part 4, Directive Principles of State Policy. Under that heading, the Prime Minister, what he has highlighted and what the Constitution is enshrined, he said it's in our Constitution. The courts have also time and again spoken in favor of a common code. Supreme Court during the Shabano case said a common civil code will help the cause of national integration by removing disparate loyalties to law which have conflicting ideologies. The Supreme Court in the Sarla Mudgal case said where more than 80% of citizens have already been brought under the codified personal law, there is no justification whatsoever to keep in abeyance anymore the introduction of a common civil code or UCC, Uniform Civil Code for all citizens in India. In 2019, the Supreme Court said founders of the Constitution hoped and expected that the state shall endeavor to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code, quoting Article 44 throughout the territories of India. This, till date, no action has been taken in this regard. Justice Pratibha M. Singh of Delhi High Court in 2021 said in modern Indian society, which is gradually becoming homogeneous, the traditional barriers of religion, community and caste are slowly dissipating. Uniform civil code should not remain a mere hope. But the Law Ministry in July 2016, under this very Modi Sarkar, Modi Point Sarkar 1 in 2016, the Law Ministry had asked the Law Commission panel to study the scope and feasibility of implementing UCC in India. Here's what Justice B.S. Chauhan-led panel had said in its report. Uniform Civil Code is not needed right now. UCC neither necessary nor desirable at this stage. Secularism can't contradict plurality in India. Cultural diversity cannot be compromised. Urge for uniformity can't be reason for threat to territorial integrity. Unified nation didn't necessarily need to have uniformity. Difference doesn't always imply discrimination. This is what the justices said, overlooking what was enshrined by our founding fathers in the Constitution itself. Now, amid the debate of the Uniform Civil Code, the Law Commission Chairman, Justice Rituraj Awasthi, the current Law Commission Chairman, has said that the Law Commission is receiving huge number of responses. Law Commission Chairman, Justice Rituraj Awasthi, has said till June 27th, 2023, they have received 8.5 lakh responses. He also said UCC is not a new issue and the reference was received in 2016. He added that one consultation paper was released in 2018. Justice Awasthi went on to say that from 2018 to November 2022, the Law Commission was not functional, and in November 2022, appointments were made and this matter was taken up and have been working on it. Law Commission Chief said they are making efforts to have wide consultations with all stakeholders and organizations. And he's also underlined the inclination that the nation must have a common civil code across the territory of India. Let's go straight into the face-off. National spokesperson of the BJP, Sanju Verma, is with us, and Waris Pathan, spokesperson and former MLA of the AIMIM, with us. Namaste and Jai Hind to the lady and the gentleman. Let's take this story forward. Sanju Verma, जो 2016 में not necessary था, अब 2023 में necessary कैसे हो गया? What happened then? Was the Constitution not there then? Was Article 44 not present then?
You know, Anand, first and foremost, you gave a brilliant introduction summarizing the key aspects of, what various Supreme Court judgments have said over the years. I would just like to say one thing. UCC should have been implemented as of yesterday. But now the fact remains that though there has been, a lot of debate around this, too much of brouhaha, जो बीत गया वो बात गई, पर आज ये बहुत जरूरी ही नहीं, UCC implement करना अनिवार्य है. And I will just quickly tell you why. You rightly said the 1985 Shabano judgment. Then it was Chief Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, the father of the current Chief Justice, who said that a common civil code will help the cause of national integration, removing disparate loyalties to law which have conflicting ideologies. And the Supreme Court said it is a matter of regret that Article 44 has remained a dead letter. In the Sarla Mudgal versus Union of India case, Judge Kuldeep Singh said that it is time to bring out UCC and not consign it to the dustbin of history. And very recently, in a judgment in 2021, Justice Sunit Kumar of the Allahabad High Court said that not implementing uniform civil code on the back of fears that it will hurt the minorities is a sham argument, and uniform civil code is the need of the hour. This was echoed and corroborated by Justice Pratibha Singh of the Delhi High Court, who said that while we are becoming an increasingly homogeneous society, our future generations, our youngsters should not be burdened by having to each time rake up a personal law and go to the court and have the courts deliberate on it, because it's a waste of time. So let there be a codified law. If we can have a common penal code called the IPC, we have one nation, one tax called GST. We have no reason why we should not have a uniform civil code. And I will just give the most important argument. Will uniform civil code destroy plurality? No. Will it destroy our unity in diversity? No. The only thing it seeks to do is to ensure that in matters of marriage, inheritance, adoption, maintenance, divorce, we have a common set of laws so that there is no discrimination on the grounds of personal laws between you and me, or you and Waris Pathan, or me and Waris Pathan, or between anybody for that matter, A, B, C.
Waris Pathan.
Well, Anand, I have been listening to the BJP spokesperson Sandeep. Let me make my point. The drama of the UCC is the after effect of the Prime Minister's visit to the United States. The triple talaq issue, the Pashmanda Muslim issue, and the UCC. Because in the United States, Prime Minister was asked questions by the journalists vis-a-vis the Indian democracy status. Barack Obama, the ex-president of United States, gave an interview saying that in India, the ethnic minority and the Muslim minority are in trouble. They are facing a lot of backlashes. So if this is not controlled, India will collapse. So to see to it that the Prime Minister came here and he started with the UCC. Now, the Law Commission in 2018 had clearly stated that the UCC is not required in the country. We have been seeing that since last more than 70 years, we have been following the constitution given to us by Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. All the laws are there. In the same constitution, Article 14, Article 25, 26, 29, especially Article 29 speaks about the diversity and pluralism, which are the basic structures of our constitution. What will he do with that? You cannot destroy that. Otherwise, what will happen in the country? Now, if Modi wants to implement the UCC, what he will do with the HUF, Hindu Undivided Family? That facility is not been given to the Muslims, wherein 3,000 plus crore rupees have been the state country is losing. What he will do with that? In Himachal Pradesh, Anand, there is a law that if Waris Pathan wants to go there and buy an apple orchard, I cannot buy there because the law prevents me. In Gujarat, there is a law that if Waris Pathan wants to go to a Hindu area and want to buy a flat or a house, I cannot buy that because the law is that different. So what he will do with that? Whether Daya Bhaga school of thoughts will be implemented or the Mitaksha school of thoughts will be implemented, nobody knows that. So bringing the chapter of UCC is clearly showing the BJP's thing that they don't have any questions. People are asking them about the rising price. They don't have the answer for that. About the unemployment, they don't have the answer. To the UCC, they were in government since last 9 years. What prevented Modi to get this UCC implemented?
They had got the majority with them. That question Sanju Verma will answer.
MPs were there with him. Why did he not get that at that time?
Waris Pathan, that question Sanju Verma will answer. But let me ask you, sir. आप advocate भी हैं, lawyer भी हैं.
Yes.
Common civil code का ambit दायरे क्या है? He is buying land in Himachal, part of UCC. He is buying a flat in Gujarat, part of UCC.
Law of the land.
No. Common civil code. Common. You tell me what is the ambit of common. आप जहाँ बीजेपी को घेरना आप घेरो, लेकिन argument तो सही करो. This is about marriage, inheritance, divorce, maintenance and adoption. ये पांच है ना.
Marriage.
इसमें घर खरीदना कहाँ से आ गया? इसमें एप्पल ऑर्चर्ड खरीदना कहाँ से आ गया? एंड सर, जिस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का आपने हवाला दिया, उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में उस कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में आर्टिकल 44 भी उसी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में है ना, which says that was also founded, written by Baba Saheb Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar only, who said UCC चाहिए for the territory of India.
Ambedkar said,
and
Baba Saheb Ambedkar never said that implement UCC.
He said the state shall enter. अरे सर, अभी तो मैंने कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पढ़ा आपके सामने. Abhi to, you are listening that the state shall endeavor for its citizens to secure for its citizens a uniform civil code.
I am showing the constitution article.
Sir, I have the original one, sir.
29, as you spoke.
ये 71 का 75 का abridged version नहीं है, original है sir ये.
Anand, may I
Original
please
part
just come
4
to
ये रहा. Sir देखिए, Article part 4 Directive Principles of State Policy and Article 44. It is written. It says there Uniform Civil Code for the citizens.
Yes.
And sir, it also says the
How will
state
they
shall
get-
endeavor
no,
to secure
no,
for its
no.
citizens uniform
I don't
citizen
agree
civil
with
code
you.
across the territory of India. So then don't say that. Then you
I
can't
don't
forget
agree.
this. This is also there. Then you can't oppose this. Based on your
I
argument.
please answer?
However, for your
Anand,
question, sir, for your question,
Anand, in
Sanju
our
Verma
country-
respond. 9 साल के बाद अभी
Please,
UCC
I
क्यों
need
याद
to come
आया?
in here.
Yes, Sanju Verma.
और
Allow me to complete.
Anand,
Allow me to complete.
Anand, मैंने अभी बहुत ध्यान से सुना.
Let Sanju Verma respond and then you can complete. Varis
Let
Patel.
me complete as you spoke
Okay,
about.
Sanju Verma, please give him 60 seconds and then I'll come
Anand,
to you.
you
Thank
spoke
you.
about
Yeah.
the marriage. Yes. Anand, in Muslims,
Huh.
marriage is a contract.
Huh.
In Hindus, the marriage is janam ka saath.
No.
And in Christians,
No.
what will
Hindus
Modi
also
do?
have a Hindu
No,
marriage act.
In India.
Sir, again, sir, ye.
In India.
No.
Allow me.
Sir,
Very
sir,
important point,
sir,
Anand.
in Muslims,
Allow me
Muslims
10
also,
seconds.
when the nikah happens,
Anand,
the
this
prayer
cannot be
is
a
that
monologue,
this lasts many lifetimes. That's a prayer.
You
But the
give
act
me
is a
60
contract.
seconds, Anand. This is cheating here.
May
This
I
is
come
not
in?
good.
No,
You are cheating
sir.
with me.
May I come?
Give me 60 seconds.
Come in
Okay,
here.
ठीक है, बोलिए.
Anand, in our country there are several states.
Anand, ये 60
several
seconds
states.
Sir,
Sanju ji coming to you.
Sir,
Sanju ji, patient. आप दोनों ही है. I'll come to you. I'll give you your time. Sanju ji, please bear with me. Ji.
There are several states in our country, Anand. Like in Maharashtra, we have got signboards in Marathi. The language is Marathi. In Gujarat, we have signboards in Gujarati. Language is Gujarati. Like Punjab, you have signboards in Punjabi. Language is Punjabi. What will you do? Everywhere in the country, we will have one language, English or Hindi. What will happen next? If a Muslim dies, he is buried. If a Hindu dies, he is burned.
As a lawyer and also as an astute politician, I expect much better arguments from you, please.
What will happen
Sir,
to that?
I expect much better arguments from you. Sanju Verma, please. Sanju Verma. देखिए, I have got lot of. Please make the right arguments and ask the right question. आप सही सवाल पूछ के फिर गलत तर्क देना शुरू कर देते हैं. एक मिनट. Yeah, let Sanju Verma respond to you. Sir, I'll tell you all the acts. I'll tell you all communities will get affected. I'll come to that also. Fact wise, sir, fact पे argue करेंगे. Sanju ji, if you will give me 30 seconds, let me please read this out. The number of laws UCC will replace. Sir, Varis bhai, and also Sanju ji, please listen. For the Hindus, the Hindu Disposition of Property Act 1916 will be gone. The Hindu Marriage Act 1955 will be gone. Hindu Minority and Guardianship Act 1956 gone. Hindu Adoptions and Maintenance Act 1956 gone. Hindu Succession Act 1956 gone. So for the Hindu Samaj, all these acts will go. For the Muslims, Musalman Waqf Act 1923 will go. Muslim Personal Law Application Act 1937 will go. Dissolution of Muslim Marriages Act 1939 will go. Muslim Women Protection Rights on Divorce Act 1986 will also go. For the Christians, Indian Divorce Act 1869, Indian Christian Marriage Act 1872, Indian Succession Act 1925, Marriage Dissolution Act 1936. All these laws will go for all communities. Sanju Verma.
Thank you. Anand, let us now, speak. This is not the way to debate. I have not heckled Varis Pathan. Please now have the ability to listen to the other side. I did not heckle you. Anand, I need my time.
Yeah.
Time and again on these UCC debates, and I have attended quite a few, not just Varis Pathan, but there are many Muslims who say that, UCC यदि आएगा तो जो Hindus को HUF के तहत income tax benefits मिलते हैं under section 29 and section 31 of the Income Tax Act, उनका क्या होगा? तो पहली बात तो ये, taxation is a part of Income Tax Act of 1961. Taxation does not come under personal laws. And UCC seeks to codify personal laws. It does not seek to intervene in matters of taxation. Point number one. Point number two, you will be surprised to know that HUF benefits are not limited to Hindus alone, but also are extended to Sikhs and Jains. Point number three, when we talk of taxation benefits to Hindus or Sikhs or Jains under HUF, We are not talking of benefits under HUF being made available to the entire Hindu community or entire Jain community or entire Sikh community. We are talking of only certain individuals within the Hindu, Sikh or Jain community if they satisfy criteria like A, they have to trace their birth to common ancestors, B, they have to be married, C, the person, man or woman, has to have a legal offspring, and fourth, in order to claim benefits under HUF, you have to be staying in India continuously for a period of 730 days at least or more during the 7 years immediately preceding the relevant year. The number of people within the Hindu community who actually claim HUF benefits are minuscule. The fourth and most important point which I want to say is this. There was a very interesting judgment in 1996, and in that judgment there was this case pertaining to Molly Joseph versus George Sebastian. In dono ke lawyers, Clarence Spice went to the Supreme Court and said that the divorce to this Christian couple should be given as per the church and not as per the Indian courts. And the Supreme Court said personal laws are subservient to the constitution and only a divorce granted by the court in India and not by the church will be valid. And do you know something, Anand? That the same 1996 case was again reheard in the Supreme Court in 2017 when Justice Kehar was the CJI and he upheld the 1996 verdict saying a divorce by the church is not valid.
All these points taken, Sanju ji, but Varis Pathan का वो question तो answer कीजिए. 9 साल बाद क्यों common code याद आया?
I'm coming, Anand. Please give me 30 seconds. वारिस पठान ने बहुत सही सवाल किया. वारिस पठान जी रुक जाइए, आपने सवाल किया तो जवाब सुन लीजिए.
To US and kindly
जवाब सुन लीजिए. Anand, this is not
okay. Let her respond. What is that? Please let her respond.
Why was he waiting for this?
Let me.
That's your question. Let her respond. Let her respond.
This is not fair.
No, let her respond to your question and you only rebut.
A lengthy monologue, Varis Pathan. Now, please, Anand, you know, ये कहना कि हमने 2016 में नहीं किया. You know what is wrong with this guy? Why is he heckling? Varis Pathan, मैंने आपको बिल्कुल टोका है, मेरी बात खत्म होने दीजिए.
No.
Yeah, you are asking question to the anchor, but you are heckling your co-panelist.
Denny.
Anand is not the co-panelist. Sanju Verma is the co-panelist.
Acha, Sanju ji, please answer his question and then let him speak.
I'm not answering to him. I'm answering to Anand's question.
Anand, can I please?
Yeah.
Anand, let me be very. No, I will call out the bluff of people who are against the Uniform Civil Code. I have to make this point, Anand, very humbly. Who are the people who are against?
No. I am asking, no, please answer the question. Why did your government take 9 years to come to this? And why did the Prime Minister comment about this now in June 2023?
Anand, can I please finish?
No, please answer this question.
I will answer. Please let me have my say, Anand. Since when have you started
I am also...
culture?
Please, ma'am, if I have the right to ask questions of Varis Pathan, I have the right to ask questions of you. And you are also duty-bound as spokesperson of the party to please answer the question that's been first asked.
Go on with the rantings.
Let me please finish. Anand, I will answer your question, which will also cover Varis Pathan's question. I'm not running away. Just bear with me for 30 seconds. Or am I not allowed that?
30 seconds on the clock and then the next 2 minutes to Varis Pathan because I interrupted when he was making an argument. So I have to be fair to him. Yes.
Yes. So my limited point is this. Which is the lobby which is against Uniform Civil Code? It is basically a lobby led by Sunni Muslims who are represented by the All India Muslim Personal Law Board, which is nothing but an NGO which came up when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. All India Muslim Personal Law Board does not stand for Shias, does not stand for Pasmandas, does not stand for Ahmadiyya Muslims, does not stand for Bohra Muslims. तो ये खाली ऑल इंडिया मुस्लिम पर्सनल लॉ बोर्ड या असदुद्दीन ओवैसी जैसे कुछ चुनिंदा लोगों के कारण
You made that point. Now please answer the question, ma'am. Now please answer the question. 9 years, why now?
I admit it should have been done earlier, but there I durust hai.
Varis Pathan, is that convincing? Is that convincing? And do you believe the government has got the contours right for a common code? Yes, Varis Pathan.
Now it is my turn.
Yes, your turn, sir. I won't interrupt you now.
Well, Sanju Verma had cited certain judgments. All those judgments were there with the BJP government. Prior to 2019 also they had raised the issue of the Uniform Civil Code. Why did they not implement that time? And as you rightly said, Anand, if Modi had an intention to do, he would have done that.
Now you have to
Now
extend
this
the
is
courtesy
not
back.
good. See, now you are heckling. What is wrong with
Sanjuji,
this woman? Why is
now
he
you have
heckling
to,
so much, Anand?
you have
What is
to
wrong with her?
extend the same
What is
courtesy
wrong
to
with
him.
now
He
she
stopped
will
when
be
you
seen
urged
as a
him to.
victim card of woman
He
and
stopped
she
when
will
you
walk
urged
away
him
from
to.
the debate.
Sanjuji, he stopped when you urged him to. Please, let him speak, please. Please let Varis Pathan speak. He stopped. He yielded. No, Sanjuji, he yielded. Sanjuji, he yielded. Now you are being unfair, ma'am. I'll have to raise my voice. Please let Varis Pathan speak. No, please don't heckle him. Yes, Varis Pathan.
He was heckling me.
Please, no, he stopped. He stopped when you raised objection. He stopped when you raised objection, ma'am. He stopped when you raised objection, ma'am. Please. Yes, Varis Pathan. Yes, Varis Pathan.
देर आए दुरुस्त नहीं है आनंद. जब अमेरिका में डंडा पड़ा तो वापिस आए. अभी यूसीसी याद आ गया. Now they recollect Pasmanda Muslim, now triple talaq, Muslim woman, Muslim sister. During the triple talaq time, Modi said Muslim women are my sisters. Now what happened whenever sister wanted to wear hijab and go for examination? Modi did not allow. Bilkis Banu was also Muslim. Her rapists now are outside. They are been given ticket to contest election on the BJP. Why Modi is silent on that? And you are talking about the Muslim women. I am very happy. Okay, you show concern. But there are Anand, 20 lakh plus our Hindu sisters who are abandoned by their husband, deserted. They are in Vrindavan. Why nobody talks about them? Why have you left them there? Why nobody wants to take concern about those women who are staying there? No! Modi wants to divert the mind of the nation from the basic issues which are before the government. People are asking him about the rising fuel prices. People are asking him about the unemployment. They don't have answer. All these things which Modi brought, they are going to shambles. Will they pass for 2,000 currency notes? Demonetization. What happened to that?
You are asking
Again,
all the right questions.
What happened to the
you are
farmer
asking
bills?
as an
They have to
opposition
be
a
due.
lot of
This
questions.
will also be a debacle.
Which
and
the
they
opposition...
spoke about the Muslim Personal Law Board. The Muslim Personal Law Board has asked for 6 months' time to file the reply.
You
Let them
spoke
file the
about
reply.
Bilkis
But
Banu.
just now
What
I was
about
on another
Shah
show. A BJP
Shah
spokesperson
Shah
said,
Shah
what is the value of the law commission of the country?
Well,
It's a law
my
commission,
simple,
you don't-
I have to wind up to the lady and the gentleman. I have paucity of time on the. Thank you so much. I really respect the two of you. Thank you for your time and for making these arguments and for joining us on the right stand. Quickly moving, ladies and gentlemen, to the other big story. Dramatic scenes unfolding at the famous historic Chidambaram Nataraja temple in Tamil Nadu. A face-off over the entry curb soon escalated into a state versus temple fight. But was this required? Is there an attempt being made by the state to take over the temple rights, and are the temple authorities unable to handle their affairs? We debate that, but before that, let's tell you what transpired there. Devotees were stopped from entering the Chidambaram temple. Priests who govern the Thillai Nataraja temple had banned devotees from climbing atop the golden platform between the 24th and 27th of June. Only for this period, during the Adi Tirumanjalam, a 4-day auspicious program when special pujas are conducted, citing security concerns. The Hindu Religious and Charitable Endowments Department visited the temple, removed the board installed by the priests. Soon Dikshitas staged a protest and the curb was imposed as they couldn't handle the crowd. And there were jewels and there was a security issue. The situation further escalated as the HRNC officials and cops forced their way into the mandapam, entered there and came back. 11 priests have now been booked for allegedly obstructing government officials. All these controversies took place post the Supreme Court order in Jan 2014. But what did the Apex Court judgment say? Temple to be managed by priests, not by the TN government. Priests constitute a religious denomination and their rights are to be preserved and protected from any invasion by the state. Government can take over temple management control to remove any maladministration if proven in front of the Supreme Court. But such an arrangement cannot be for an indefinite period. Continuation thereafter would tantamount to usurpation of their proprietary rights and violation of the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution in favor of the persons deprived. Power to regulate does not mean power to supersede. Now the big question is, if Chidambaram temple is not under HRNC department, why is the state interfering? Time and again. If there's proof of financial mismanagement, why not approach the courts and prove it in the court of law? They can do it directly in the Supreme Court. By interfering with temple affairs, isn't HRNC department violating Article 29? Deity has a living right as per the Constitution. Has that not been violated by the HRNC department? With reports of funds management, mismanagement, should the board actually resist scrutiny? Is everything above board with the Dikshitars? Question. Marred in controversies, is temple administration unable to handle the affairs? S. Gurumurthy ji, editor Tuglak is with us. Namaste and Jai Hind, sir. Thank you for your time.
Namaskar.
Namaskaram. How would you see the Chidambaram temple issue? Your point of view, sir.
I think the government is either foolish or illiterate, or it is actually autocratic. Because this is the only temple which has been kept out of the reach of the HR&C department by the Supreme Court. Actually, it is a war against the Supreme Court. I don't know who advises the government. Obviously, the government has committed a huge, what I can say, not only fault, I think they have taken the Hindu bhaktas for granted. You see, there is nothing like the devotees demanding anything. The devotees will always like to see the Lord, but there is some discipline of the whole samskaras of the temple that during a particular period you don't allow people to come into a podium. It's a small podium, it's not a large podium. Hundreds of people can't stand there. Only some 20-30 people can stand. And it is only those who are actually performing the rituals who can be there. And thousands and thousands of devotees come there. All of them would like to climb. Obviously, they will be told in this period you can't climb. In other period, they will be allowed in queue or something. This is a normal thing. This has been going on for generations. It is not a rule which was framed day before yesterday. But to make this as some kind of violation of the rights of the devotees, to seek to invade the temple, and HR&C department has no locus in the temple, appointing an executive officer and giving the executive officer police powers, and in police she goes and climbs and sits there. I think it is atrocious. I mean, it is only because it is not only Hindus who are weak in Tamil Nadu. If it were any other community, they would not have attempted this. If it is any other caste also, they would not have attempted this. This is a Brahmin caste. They will not protest. They will not throw stones. In the process, you also subjected them to the cruelty of levying charge against them for child marriage and subjecting those girls to two-finger tests, which was obnoxious. And that was a subject of official communication by the governor. But this is all not taken notice of. And these are all supposed to be governments which are running on some high principles of democracy, freedom, and Dravidian model. I think what is happening.
But their point of view, Professor Gurumurthy, is,
shameful.
sir, their point of view, you've said that it is deliberately targeting the Dikshitars because they are Brahmins and they are a small community. But their point of view is that there are complaints from the Bhaktas. People have complaints, so HR&C has come there. There has been an instance of child marriage, so they are being investigated. And time and again, HR&C says financial mismanagement is happening.
Then let us assume there are complaints. I go with, because I am a law-abiding person. But is the police to investigate the complaints in this matter, or should they constitute an independent person to go into the complaint? Can the police enter the temple first to support an executive officer? It is not your first attempt. You have been targeting this temple from the day the Supreme Court said you can't touch the temple. So you can never do justice to this temple. And I think it is for the Supreme Court. Actually, it is an affront to the Supreme Court. It is for the Supreme Court to take care. Obviously, the Supreme Court has its own hands full and it cannot do justice within a few days. But they can do damage to the temple discipline, to the decorum of the religious ceremonies, and they can bring the whole temple into disrepute and terrorize the Dikshitars, who are a law-abiding people.
But what is the recourse, sir?
In Tamil Nadu is obnoxious.
In 2014, the matter was fought over a period of time. Now, who will represent the Dikshitars' cause? They are at a loss. Can the Supreme Court take suo motu cognizance, or will somebody have to knock the doors of the court and apprise them of what's happening?
I don't think the Supreme Court will take suo motu cognizance. Of course, the Supreme Court has done it in other cases, but I don't think in this case they will be able to do it. Obviously, someone will have to move the Supreme Court. I think the Tamil Nadu government is actually waging a war against the Supreme Court.
What is the counter to this? Are you willing to help the Dikshitars? Are you willing to help them?
You see, it is nothing. It is only an ego battle. How can a temple be beyond my control? And that too, such a great temple. The Nataraja's statue is there in CERN experiment as a symbol of scientific advancement. It says that he symbolizes the movement of the waves. You know, such a great deity which is housed there and worshipped by people from all over the world, it is being brought to such a disrepute. It is unbecoming of a government of any kind. I don't expect even a Mughal government would have done what the DMK government is doing. At least they will have some shame that they are doing this to the Hindus. But these people can do anything against the Hindus because they also say they are Hindus.
Is this specifically against Hindus, or is it against the Dikshitars who are Brahmins?
It is against the Hindu tradition, Hindu values, and it is administered by Brahmins. This temple is administered, they are not only Brahmins, they are a very small section of the Brahmins.
So what is the way forward?
Part of even the larger Brahmin community.
What is the way forward? Because if there is no uproar among the Hindu community,
they have to seek recourse only under law.
But
there is no other way. Otherwise, they are not the people who will go to the streets.
But Professor Gurumurthy, temples are the only ones that come under state control as religious institutions. Hindus are majority population in this country.
No, temples do not come under the government. The temples are supposed to be managed well, and the responsibility is of the government to ensure. But they cannot control or take over the temple. They have done it repeatedly. There are temples which are for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, only under the political system. Whereas it should be only an intervention. So it has now become, they have established a government department for this. Not to supervise, but to manage, to own, to control. The entire HRNC department is against the scheme of the constitution.
But how do you dismantle this? Because this is not unique only to Tamil Nadu. It is a pan-India issue.
No. In all over India it is there, but there is a system. Even in a communist state like Kerala, there is a system of governance. In Andhra, there is a system of governance. There is participation of the people. Because the DMK movement, you know, they said, Sriranganathanayum, Thillai Nadarajanayum, Beerangi Vaithu Thagarthum Naal Ennalo. When will we martyr, bomb and blast these two temples had been the slogan of the Dravidian ideology. So all other states have a certain control, regulation of the temple. But nobody said these deities should be blasted. Your intention is that.
But Professor Gurumurthy, the situation right now is that these Dikshitars believe that the control is slipping. The HRNC department tomorrow can take control. Unless there is urgent representation or intervention by the top court.
Actually, whatever you may say, the government has the police power. The government can do anything. But whether the government is doing the right thing or not, again you have to go only to the court.
But are you willing to help this team, Professor Gurumurthy? Is there somebody who can take up their cause?
Obviously, no, of course. All of us are in stress for time. But this is a matter in which I can't disown my responsibility.
Is there a larger need to reconsider what is happening across the country and in terms of this entire aspect of freeing Hindu temples? And would you also blame the Hindu community itself, who have not taken the onus of wresting back the control from states?
You see, actually the Hindus were cheated by believing that post-independent government was their government. So the government and temple had always coexisted in this country. All the Maharajas. And so they believed this government will be like this. They never thought this government will turn against the temples, against Hindus, against Hinduism, against Hindu rituals, against Hindu sampradayas. They were cheated. In fact, two top leaders in the country in their last years, I don't want to mention their names, we were cheated into believing that this government will safeguard the Hindus because that is the only unorganized religion, only unorganized people, only unorganized worshippers model. It is a completely free religion. We were cheated into believing that this government will do that, but the government had actually turned against. They are very top people who occupied highest positions in this country. I don't want to mention their names and shame them.
Professor Gurumurthy, thank you for your time. You've been very candid. Let us hope that this voice is taken note of and they have the ability to seek legal recourse and also move for an urgent hearing in the top court, because the top court is the one that is supposed to be monitoring the management and how things are being conducted at the...
I agree. That is the only way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very, very much. Namaskaram. We're going to take a very short break, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us. When we come back, the video is out on the Millet song. And it's not just Falgusha. Even Ricky Cage has now composed a song on Mandya or Millets. Stay with us.
Where there were, confrontations and altercations between two groups, ostensibly over the issue within the housing complex, where both the groups started complaining that this was against what was agreed within the constitution. In fact, we saw that there were several altercations from within the housing complex as well, where the members who raised objections were seen confronting those who had brought the goats within the housing complex. There was a debate about why they were being stopped and how a large number of crowds gathered thereafter as well. So as of now, the police say that the situation is under control, it is peaceful, but there was a lot of tension in the area after certain right-wing activists had also joined in, and the two groups had a face-off after this altercation from within the housing complex.
Maharashtra, where tension at the housing society in Meera Bhayandar after two goats were brought by lift have erupted. Now, society claims that goats were not allowed to be taken in the lift, but they were taken. Now, we are showing you the visuals as well. Police had to intervene in this particular matter, even as a large crowd gathered over the issue. Now, protesting residents chanted Chalisa and Jai Shri Ram outside the buildings as well. So, it is a shocking and breaking news coming in from the state of Maharashtra, where tension at the housing society in Meera Bhayandar after two goats were actually brought by lift. Now, society claims that goats are actually not allowed to be taken in the lift, but they were taken. Now, police had to intervene in this particular matter, even as the large crowd gathered over this particular issue. Protesting residents chanted Chalisa and Jai Shri Ram. We are showing you the visuals of that building and how two goats were taken up from the lift even after it was not allowed in the building, and hence the protest has now erupted outside the building, where the residents are actually chanting Chalisa and Jai Shri Ram. Now, the Meera Bhayandar, okay, I have CNN News 18's Vinay Deshpande joining me on the phone line. Vinay, a very good morning to you. Could you please tell our viewer what exactly the matter was?
Good morning. Now, this is an incident that is being reported from JP North Society in Meera Bhayandar, where police had to use force because a lot of people had gathered. What had happened was this was an internal matter from the housing society, where there were two goats which were taken by the lift. The society claimed that it was not allowed that the goats were transported through the lift. Some society members also claimed that it was being done for Qurbani and that it was not allowed in the housing complex. Because of that, tension rose within the housing complex. You saw how a large number of people gathered within the housing complex. There was a bit of sloganeering as well, and there were altercations. Thereafter, the police had to enter the scene, where we could see that, there were some altercations between the police and the protesting groups as well. So there was tension in Meera Bhayandar late last night after this particular issue. The police say that the situation was brought under control thereafter. Back to you.
Well, Vinay, we have to show our viewers how the residents are actually chanting Jai Shri Ram and Chalisa. Let's take a look. just showed our viewers how residents are actually chanting Chalisa and are singing Hanuman Chalisa as well, and are chanting Jai Shri Ram outside their residence. But do we have any official word coming in from the cops as well, since they intervened in this particular matter?
Well, yes, the cops said that they deployed police personnel at Mira Bhayandar the minute they came to know about the brawl, and that, once tension started rising, a team of police was sent there in order to control the crowd. There were some altercations there as well, and, as per our information, the police had to resort to some use of force in order to disperse the crowd as well. So as of now, what we are learning is that this was, the tension in the area was going on till late last night, where there were, confrontations and altercations between two groups, ostensibly over the issue within the housing complex, where both the groups started complaining that this was against what was agreed within the constitution. In fact, we saw that there were several altercations from within the housing complex as well, where the members who raised objections were seen confronting those who had brought the goats within the housing complex. There was a debate about why they were being stopped and how a large number of crowds gathered thereafter as well. So as of now, the police say that the situation is under control, it is peaceful, but there was a lot of tension in the area after certain right-wing activists had also joined in.
Back on the right stand, and we have Mr. Nilesh Shah, Managing Director, Kotak Mahindra Asset Management Company Limited, joining us this evening. And just to look back on the state visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to the USA. Nilesh ji, namaste. Thank you very, very much. My first question to you, it's a significant trip. Many are hailing it as historic and never before. His own coinage of America, India or AI. Let's start there. How strong is this Jugalbandi?
I think this Jugalbandi is bringing melodious ragas for India and America both. One, it is facilitating India's entry into high-tech club. There is technology agreement for making of jet engines, assembly of semiconductor chips, joint collaboration for space mission, quantum computing, and most importantly, what I noticed is the training program for about 60,000 people who will help in manufacturing of chips. I don't think so. We have seen this kind of technology collaboration where India's entry into high-tech club is facilitated by US. The second thing which is very interesting is to kind of creating a multipolar world against China. There is Technology Alliance for Development of 5G and 6G on telecom side, which will take on UAE kind of companies from China. The second focus is on critical minerals, which are going to be extremely important for electric vehicle. So there is entry into critical material agreement. The third thing is giving off predator drones, which will enhance India's maritime capability. So there are lots of efforts which are coming together to create this Jugalbandi, which is melodious for Indian and American economy.
But what is the reason, Nilesh ji, for this American confidence in the India story compared to a few years ago?
So to some extent, we have seen the Birbal's Kahani, where other lines have become smaller and hence our line look bigger. But there's no doubt that our line is also bigger. From an economic point of view, India is moving from 5th largest economy to 3rd largest economy. More importantly, it is the only emerging market where foreign direct and foreign portfolio investors have open ground. India's largest private sector bank, insurance companies, mutual funds, telecom companies, FMCG companies, automobile companies are majority owned by foreigners. No other country can make that kind of statement. So this is the growth opportunity along with shared democratic values
Ji.
and a rule of law, all these things are combining good entry point for American investors.
But Nileshji, is this just one-way traffic, America to India, or is it a two-way flow?
Undoubtedly, it has to be two-way relationship. Indian IT companies are creating enough jobs in US.
Ji.
But now we have seen companies, from various background, old as well as new industrial houses, coming together to set up businesses in America. For example, there are companies setting up steel plant, solar panel manufacturing, as well as EV batteries, which will probably put more than $2 billion into American economy. While these are small sums compared to their giant economy, but many of these investments are at cutting edge of technology. For example, American capital and India's Jugaad engineering put together can create a material win-win situation for everyone.
But is there consistency in delivery as far as the India commitment is concerned? Ink to implementation, do you see a lag or will it happen fast?
Undoubtedly, there is confidence.
Ji.
If we look at American healthcare system, more than 1/3 of doctors are of Indian origin. More than 45% of medicine consumed by volume is made in India. And the cost of delivery of healthcare in India relative to America is far, far lower. Now, if an American citizen can, give his health in the Indian hand or Indian care, I don't see a reason why they won't be willing to give their wealth into Indian care or Indian ecosystem. Will there be ups and downs in our relationship? Undoubtedly, yes. But I think there is a people-to-people connect, there is political connect, and there is governmental connect. Put together, India-US is becoming natural allies. And more importantly, in the entire Western world, you don't have a democratic model of success. Countries like China, Russia, they are autocracies. You need a democratic success model so that other countries follow this path. And India will be the perfect example for it.
A fair point made, but if you see, Micron is investing nearly $2.75 billion, about 22,000 crore plus. Will that now give the confidence for India Inc. also to loosen their purse strings? Because one of the observations has been that India Inc. has not bought into the India story itself, the growth story.
Your point, Anand, is absolutely valid that India Inc. on investment side is on the back foot. But we have already seen sign of bottoming out. And mind you, we are coming up from the bottom. But there is a focus now on investment as capacity utilization have reached 70-75% level. Bank credit is available. And most importantly, corporates have deleveraged. Indian corporates have seen one of the biggest deleveraging cycle, which means now they have balance sheet to invest into. When you see a company like Micron coming in, I just hope and pray that they do what Maruti Suzuki did to India's automobile sector.
Yes.
They created multiple vendors, and some of them like Motherson Sumi today are global vendors. Second, they also created quality. The cars before Maruti's arrival and car after them, there is a big difference. So I just hope and pray that Micron does to India's semiconductor sector what Maruti Suzuki did to India's automobile sector, create jobs, create growth, make us an export market also, and combination of this will lead private sector to invest into India.
Fingers crossed on that. But Nileshji, in your own wisdom, is this geopolitics at play or is this belief in the India story itself?
We can't say that we are enemies of China, but undoubtedly there is a geopolitics at play. I think eventually there will be excess of democracies versus excess of autocracies. And we are natural allies in that sense with Western world. So undoubtedly, apart from commercial interest, there is geopolitical interest also.
But is the trust factor also now improved? With that bharosa ki Bharat pe, Indians pe bharosa kiya ja sakta hai, that belief, isn't that important?
अगर आप अपनी जिंदगी हमारे हाथ में रख सकते हैं तो बाकी सब चीजों की क्या बात है.
Very well said, Nilesh ji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having this short but very important conversation with us here on The Right Stand. Namaste. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the music video on the Millet song is out. Here I am in conversation with Falusha, and we get you the full look of that song she sung for us the other day. Let's say a quick hello to a bright and chirpy looking Falguni. Falu, if I may call you that. Congratulations on your song. It's been a grand unveiling of the cover. I believe you worked with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his office, the PMO, for over 6 months on this song. How was it meeting him?
This was my 4th meeting with him. So,
Wow,
you know,
okay.
but every time I meet with him, it's just now, before he used to call me Falguni Ben, and then it became Falguni. Now he calls me my name, which is my stage name, Falu. You can also call me that. So I'm so happy that,
Thank you.
you know, it's become, he doesn't have to be formal when he addresses me. I obviously say Modi ji, but he doesn't have to say Falguni. So I'm happy. So he saw me in New York. We did the song and he opened it and, he inaugurated it. It was so nice. It was so exciting because after 6 months of back and forth, okay, I like this line, I don't like this line. Let's do this speech here. I like this speech. This doesn't go with music. You know, a lot of things went because the song is in Hindi, it's in English, and it has the Prime Minister's written speech that he wrote and he narrated. So a lot of these factors had to be brought into this composition very cohesively without feeling like, oh, these are different sections. But no, they are all saying one story.
Fantastic. Sounds interesting. But there's also a bit of Gujarati touch in the tune. I've heard a little bit of it. Before we proceed, can I request you to sing a few lines?
What if we could change the world?
Few Gujaratis wrote it, so so you're going to hear a little bit of our, my husband wrote it. He's a Gujarati, Prime Minister Ji is a Gujarati, I'm Gujarati, and then the other 3 writers are Kenya Ori, Greg Gonzalez, and Soumya Chatterjee, and they're not Gujarati. Kenya is Latin, Soumya is Spanish, Soumya is Bengali, and Greg is Spanish. So, but I can sing it for you. So the song is about, let me give you a context.
Sure.
It's about growing millets where there is less rainfall, where it is hard, small farmers can grow it, and then exporting it to countries and our country as well, where children are, sometimes sleeping hungry. So we want to raise awareness, grow millets, and then trying to end hunger worldwide is the basic context. So one thing leads to another. And if we can even help a little bit in ending the world hunger problem, that would be the biggest takeaway from this song. So the first we describe millets in a very scenic way.
Right.
What if we could change the world? What if we could change the world? Green fields, flowing grains, golden sun, gentle rain, awaken and arise, looking for sunrise. Millets swaying all around, once lost, now found, nourishing body and soul. It's time to make us whole. Le lo bajri juwan, le lo ragi salo sal. सारे गुण से भरे है ये है बेमिसाल. श्री अन्न खाकर जियो हजारों साल. ले लो नाच नीचे ना, ले लो ragi salosa. Millets are a wonder, an end to hunger. What if we could change the world? What if we could change the world? What if we could change the world?
Millets are a wonder, an end to hunger. What if we could change the world? What if we could change the world? What if we could change the world? What if we could change the world?
Every word, every note, every phrasing, he said yes. Unless he says yes to a line, we don't proceed.
Wow. And when did he first hear
He was involved, 100%.
100%.
What if we could change the world?
No, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching Brass Tacks. I'm Anusha Soni. Uniform Civil Code. It's part of the idea of the welfare state under Indian Constitution. It's a directive principle of the state policy, which means that the state must steer in the direction of the implementation of a uniform civil code. The adoption of the Indian Constitution on the 26th of January 1950 came with an artificially created distinction. While there was one code of criminal law that was applicable to the entire country, the domain of personal laws pertaining to marriage, divorce, inheritance, etc. was left under the cloak of personal laws. Personal laws, for example, the Sharia law in the Muslim community or the church-made canon law for Christians, was protected under the customary practices. The Hindu personal law was freed from the clutches of religious code through a Hindu code bill, and subsequent codification process was done for various communities, including the Christian and the Parsi community. The legislative work done has been piecemeal and patchy so far. The outlier in the process of codification is the Muslim personal law. Yes, there are some legislations that exist, but the law is largely customary, even uncodified and archaic at various instances. The Uniform Civil Code seeks to harmonize these religious codes. One code for the so-called ambit of personal laws. Well, the task is indeed a complicated and a difficult one, but it's a task that must be undertaken. The reform is much needed for any modern democratic republic. UCC is indeed a matter of minority rights. We must talk about it. The rights of minority to development, growth and change. The refusal to bow down to the orthodoxy is a constitutional promise that must be kept. There can never be a consensus on an issue like this. To wait for one would be foolhardy. The Prime Minister has made a pitch for the Uniform Civil Code. It's time that this idea is translated into reality. Our focus on brass tacks tonight.
यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के नाम पर ऐसे लोगों को भड़काने का काम हो रहा है। आप मुझे बताइए, एक घर में परिवार के एक सदस्य के लिए एक कानून हो, परिवार के दूसरे सदस्य के लिए दूसरा कानून हो, तो क्या वो घर चल पाएगा क्या?
The country needs so many answers from the Prime Minister of India. These all issues to divert the real issues of the country.
प्रधानमंत्री जी, हिंदू मुसलमान का मसला ही नहीं है, ट्राइबल कस्टम्स का क्या करेंगे? विविधता भरा देश है ये। हिंदू धर्म के अंदर ही जितनी विविधता है, आप उसको खत्म कर देंगे।
Why uniform civil code is not applied in Hindu temples? There should be uniform civil code in Hindu temples. They believe that God is for everybody. Then everybody should be allowed to enter.
हम ईमानदारी से मुस्लिम समाज को डेवलपमेंट की तरफ आगे ले जाने की बात न केवल कहते हैं, बल्कि धरातल पे करते भी हैं। और सपा हो, कांग्रेस हो, बसपा हो, तमाम लोगों ने केवल और केवल मुसलमानों को गुमराह रखने का काम किया, लेकिन कभी भी मुसलमानों के लिए ठोस काम इन्होंने नहीं किया।
मैं मानता हूं कि यही वक्त है और सही वक्त है जब देश को कॉमन सिविल कोड मिलना चाहिए।
सैद्धांतिक रूप से हम यूसीसी का समर्थन करते हैं। संविधान में भी आप ऐसे देखेंगे तो आर्टिकल 44 इसका समर्थन करती है। कंसेंसस और सबको एक मत में लाकर ही इसको आगे जाना चाहिए।
Well, let's first talk about what the Uniform Civil Code is. You'd hear political statement around it, but what exactly is the idea that the Constitution framers really had when they made it a directive principle of state policy? UCC comprises of aspects of personal law. It's a British-era concept, talking about the personal law and how it existed. The British created this artificial distinction for a smooth functioning of colonial rule in India. The Muslims could govern under their own code and the Hindus could operate under their own Hindu personal law. The Britishers did not want to interfere with the personal religious codes that were prevalent at that time. Once we got independence, Dr. Ambedkar, he proposed a common civil code post-independence during the process of the Constituent Assembly meetings. Now, UCC, it covers aspects of marriage, divorce, inheritance, adoption, succession, and various other aspects that concern, quote-unquote, the personal lives of human beings. What is the legal position right now? Let's talk about post-independence, what kind of laws have existed. As I said, Dr. Ambedkar was the key proponent of a uniform civil code. It's thanks to him that we have the Hindu personal law or the Hindu Code Bill that made sweeping reforms in the Hindu personal law. The Hindu Code Bill, talking about it, personal laws for Hindus, Jains, Sikhs and Buddhists, but all these laws have been rationalized and more importantly, none of them right now are in violation with any kind of fundamental rights. The Muslim personal law operates largely on the Shariat Application Act. This is to protect the customary practices amongst Muslims. In other personal laws as well, there are various issues that we have seen. There is a longer waiting period for Christians upon divorce if they seek from court. And there are various other problems and anomalies that exist in different aspects of personal law of different communities. Let's talk about what are the problems which are surrounding the Uniform Civil Code. What are the impediments? Now, various personal laws are violative of the right to equality, Article 14 of Indian Constitution. Personal laws also guard patriarchy. They are very discriminatory against women. All these personal laws and a majority of them can be termed to be anti-women, and that is why there is a demand that this should be seen from the prism of a gender equality debate. Various forms of oral talaq under the Muslim personal law have been found problematic, and that is why you had the intervention coming in from the Supreme Court. Even there are certain